One, we're live.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Inshallah, we're beginning today the lessons on the Risalah of Zayd al Qayrawani. Inshallah. Before we begin, there was a post on your Facebook page about, some members of the group who were Shia, and there was something about tafdeel. My position on tafdeel is one of the transmissions that we have from Sayyidina Imam Malik radhiallahu anh, that the people of Medina did not give tafdeel to any of the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah, I will talk about it more when we get to this point, but just clarification, I do not give tafdeel to any companion. I do not hold any companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to have more reward than another, because this is as Imam Malik radhiallahu anh said, that this is laying claim to the knowledge of God, because tafdeel in essence with the mutakallimun, people who accept this, what this means is that on the Day of Judgment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reward so and so after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam the most. No one has sure knowledge of this, and if anybody wants to read more my views on this, my dissertation on this is on my Medium page, which is very easily accessible. Inshallah. As to the Shia, I have just one point to make. If something cannot be evidenced and proven from the Quran, we do not go any further on any subject. So on a point of knowledge, if we can't reference or evidence from the Book of Allah, then we leave it at that, inshallah. Okay, coming down to a brief introduction to the author of the Risalah. Inshallah, first I intend to introduce the author, then the work, and then inshallah we will see what progress we can make, inshallah. So the full name is Abu Muhammad, that's his kunya. His name's Abdullah bin Abi Zayd al Qayrawani. He died, and this is what is well known, in the year 386 Hijri. He was born in Qayrawan in the year 310. He is Amazigh or Amzigh, what people call, popularly known by the Berbers. So he was a Berber, and his tribe from the Berber or Amazigh was Nafza. As I said earlier, that he was born and bred in Qayrawan, and he died in Qayrawan. He's buried in Qayrawan. His main two teachers, and because we're dealing with his Risalah on fiqh, so I'll limit myself to his well-known teachers in fiqh, and two of them are well-known, and they molded his understanding. The first one is Ibn Abbad. His full name, he's known as Ibn Abbad. His full name is Abu Bakr Muhammad bin Wahshaha, and he died in the year 333 Hijri. The second one is Abu al-Fadl al-Abbas bin Isa bin Abbas al-Mumasi. Again, he died in the same year 333 Hijri. And these two were his mainstay in fiqh. Other than these, there are 24 teachers which are enumerated from whom he studied the various sciences of the deen. His works on usul al-fiqh, his works on fiqh, they do touch on usul al-fiqh as well. Kitab al-Amr wal-Iqtida al-Nahi an al-Shudud an al-Ulama. Then Kitab al-Iqtida bi Ahl al-Medina. Then Kitab al-Dab and Madhab Malik. The first two are not in print. Kitab al-Dab is a very good book. It's in 2 volumes. It's mainly a defense of the Maliki madhab. Then his magna opus, Kitab al-Nawadir wa Ziyadat ala Mudawwana. Again, as I said, his magna opus. The first edition that was brought out was by Darul Gharb al-Islami, and then there's a second edition by Kutub al-Ilmiya. The first edition is the one that is more reliable and relied on. Then we move on to what we are beginning, inshallah, today, by the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is Kitab al-Risalah. Yeah, Kitab al-Risalah. And his the full name of the Risalah is Kitab al-Risalah في واجب من وواجب أمور الديانة مما تنطق الألسنة وتعقيده القلوب والأفئدة وتعمله الجوارح وما يتصل الواجب من ذلك من السنن على مذهب مالك بن أنس رضي الله عنه وطريقته. Well known as the Risalah. Now, he authored this book in the year 327 at the age of 17 at the request of Sheikh Muhraz bin Khalif at-Tunisi. Who asked him to write a book that could be taught to children while they were studying the Quran. And he asked him that he write a summary of the creed of the people of the Sunnah, fiqh and adab. Now, those are, the 3 fundamentals that this text, inshallah, will cover. So it's a summary of the creed of the people of the Ahl Sunnah, the fiqh of Sayyidina Imam Malik radiallahu anh, and adab. Adab is another word for what we now call tasawwuf. Within the lifetime of the author, this work reached Baghdad, and other centers of learning. We know more about it reaching Baghdad because Imam Abhari, in his circle, it is well known that someone paid 20 pieces of gold for this short work. I have a record of about 59 commentaries on this work, which shows the popularity of this work. The other works that he authored also in fiqh was, the Kitab al-Mukhtasar al-Mudawwana, where he summarized the Mudawwana al-Kubra of Imam Suhnun, and he added his Jami' to it. He did a tahdhib of the Utbiyah. Kitab al-Muntakhab al-Mustaqsa, which is a summary of one of the commentaries on the Jami of Ibn Abdul Hakam. Kitab al-Waswas, then Kitab Tafsir Awqat al-Salawat, Risalah al Qaraba min al-Zakat, then Kitab al-Fadl Qiyam Ramadan, and Kitab al-Manasik. Those are, the well-known books of fiqh which he authored. Okay. Are there any questions to what I've said so far? Because the way I like to teach is that, people can question.
Sidi, I have a question about one book that you mentioned,
Yes.
written by Ibn Abi Zayd, rahimahullah. You mentioned Azab and
Yes.
Madhab Malik, I suppose that's the name. Is he defending the Madhab from attacks by Shafi'iyya?
No,
Or
he's the Dahiriyya.
Zahiriya? So he's living in, I suppose, in North Africa. Were there Zahiriya in North Africa at that time?
The Dahiris were more in modern day Spain, because in North Africa at the time of Abu Zayd al Qayrawani, the people that were in governing were, what nowadays goes by the name of the Ismailiyya, or in the past they were known as the Batiniya. They were in power.
Yeah.
But the Dhab is a very good book where he defends, the usul and of the madhab.
So, Sidi, the reason I mentioned Shafi'iyya, because Imam al-Shafi'i, as you know, in his Al-Um, has a chapter where he, Radd ala Malik, where he criticizes Imam Malik.
Yes.
So, are there any work particularly defending Imam Malik against the attacks laid out by Imam Shafi'i?
Ibn Fakhar has, is it Fakhar or, hold on, I'll give you the full name. His name's, I have the book. Uh, it's a small book specifically written defending the madhab from the Shafi'iyah. It's by his name's Hafiz Abi Abdullah Ibn Fakhar. Ibn al-Labbad, one of the teachers of Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani, has a work. It's in print. I think Dr. Jackson did a translation of it as well. Ibn al-Labbad or Labbad wrote a rad on Imam Shafi'i. Ibn Fakhar, then Al-Intisar, which is a rad on the Shafi'i, is actually a rad more on Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, because Ar-Ra'i, who wrote Al-Intisar, is a contemporary of Hafiz Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani. So we do have, quite a few books that were written in rebutting the Shafi'iyah, but there isn't, when it comes down to they're rebutting on masail and certain points of usul. But about the Kitab al-Umm, the Kitab al-Umm, it's not a work authored 100% by Imam Shafi'i. Yes, the material in it is of Imam Shafi'i, but was that work by Imam Shafi'i? It's the Muhakkikeen don't have the same opinion as the Am. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, thank you, Sidi. Just one last question about, since Imam Shafi'i, the topic has come. So, I mean, it's told that Imam Shafi'i was bitten, was struck, or he was not treated very well. Some people got physical with him. People claiming to be Malikiya. Some youngsters. Is there any truth to this story that Imam Shafi'i was beaten by hooligans claiming to be followers of Imam Malik, and which led to his death?
It's always, in any argument or any something like this, who's transmitting this? Where's the information coming from? Is it the Malikis who are transmitting this, or are these the Shafi'iyah who are transmitting this? Again, why would there are reports, but Imam Shafi'i, rahmatullahi alayhi, the amount of students of Imam Malik that were resident in Egypt and Cairo in particular, he had very good relations with them. And so was not only Imam Shafi, but Imam Layth bin Sa'd, lot of the great Imams of the Malikiya, studied with him as well. So why would they in particular beat up Imam Shafi? I am familiar with the story, but I take it as the story rather than a factual account. Imam Shafi wasn't, such a small figure that, someone could come and just beat him up. Allah knows best.
Yeah, so this one narration that people always bring up, it's by Ibn Abdul Hakam, and he narrates from Imam al-Ashhab that he used to pray for the death of Ash-Shafi'i. So people, and you clarified everything. Yeah, thank you.
No, but you see, if look where people are buried, where Imam Shafi is, and where the other people are buried. But again, as I said, uh, Egypt has been not a country for any one Imam. Allah knows best.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
See, there are some claims that Sheikh Zayd al Qayrawani had sort of Asari leanings, sorry, in his Aqidah. Is there any truth to that, or was he?
Um, are you familiar with any student of Imam Abu Hassan Ashari? Any Maliki students of Imam Abu Hassan al-Ashari?
No, sir.
Okay. Um, uh, we're stuck with terminology here because this athari, I personally would like a definition. Does anybody have a definition what an athari is?
From what I've read, and like my very limited understanding is, they tend to like it's somewhat the Hanbali creed, wherein they're quite against ta'wil and so on and so forth.
Okay, so if Imam Abu Hassan, Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani was athari, for argument's sake, I'll use this terminology. As I said, I have problems with it because it's something that, quite early in my life, when I was at university first in the early 1990s, our professor grounded something in me that, has never left. And thank God it hasn't left. And then it's something that, Dr. Sidi Taha Abdurrahman, the great Moroccan philosopher, may Allah, grant him a long life and good health. I would actually ask people, to keep Sidi Taha in their du'as because his health is not brilliant. Because the professor, he said, don't use a word that you don't understand. And with Sidi Taha was that, any word that you are using, you must know the etymology of it. You must know, the origins of it. Where is it coming from? What's the understanding of it? And with Athari, we don't have any grounding of the word within our, heritage, the Sunni heritage. For instance, like you've said earlier, yes, we know what the Hanbalis are. Hanbali Aqidah is, because historically we have, as Ibn Juzay al-Kalbi, Garnati, in his Qawaneen al-Fiqhiyya, he says that, the madahib of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, and before him, there are great Imams as well. There are three schools of Aqidah within the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. So we got the Hanafis, then we've got the Hanbalis, and then we've got the Asharis. So the Malikiyya and the Shafi'iyya are Ashari. The Hanafis, another name, which again would be a synonym, are the Maturidiyya. The Hanbali, or the Hanabila, their Aqidah is based on what they transmit from the Salaf. Again, this word Salaf needs to be understood, because Salaf with the Malikiyah are the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Yes, we were, and we're talking about for Aqidah. When we say Salafus Salihin, yes, we can stretch it to the Taba Tabi'een. But when it comes to Aqidah, we can't, because the Asl has to be with the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. So if the Asl doesn't go back to the Rasul, even the Sahaba's understanding, has to be, referenced to the Rasul alayhi salatu wasalam. And with Athari, again, I don't know. We know what Athara, traces or, transmissions from the reports from the Sahaba radiallahu anhum.
Sidi, just to add here, basically, athar is just used, athari, this term is just used to show that these people are against kalam, ilm al-kalam. So some people are kalamis and these
So it's
people are
later.
atharis.
It's
Yeah.
later.
So this is later after construct.
Yes.
And but I think you can shed more light on this. But every big imam, like Imam Malik, you mentioned in one of your interviews with Mufti Abu Lais that Imam Malik had a sheikh called Ibn Hurmuz who used
Yes.
to teach him ilm al-kalam. Then we know Imam Abu Hanifa was a mutakallim on his own right. Imam Shafi'i was also he also knew ilm al-kalam. So if we are to separate people by some people knowing kalam and using kalam and other people who don't use it, then all these three imams, they fall into this kalami category. So would you accept that, or would you say, this kalam or ilm al-kalam was something else in the beginning, then it became something other? Just to clarify the doubts that people have.
Again, you've got to understand that it goes back to where the money is, because this whole athari thing, or before they started using the word athari, they used to call themselves Salafi. So because Salafi, the word Salafi is very difficult to Sheikh Sheikh Puti rahmatullah alayh, wrote that beautiful work that I've forgotten the name of it now. I think someone Sidi Abdul Hakim Murad started translating it, and then he stopped. La madhabiyya, that's the word, la madhabiyya. That there was a time period of the Salaf. There was never a school of theology named Salaf or Salafi, and from them the word Athari has come, or Athar. I remember having this conversation with one of my teachers. At that time he wasn't, but later on I took the Muwatta from him. I heard the Muwatta from him. I actually asked him, because in Aqidah he says he is Athari. So I asked him, Sidi, what do you mean by Athari? He smiled and he did not answer. And that has been my experience of Athar or Atharis. That people who claim to be Athari, when you ask them to define it, it's difficult. So to put Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani in that group is going to be difficult, because his teachers, especially Ibn al-Abbad and then his teacher, they were mutakallimun. They were people of aqid, kalam. Then Ibn Mujahid, the student of Imam Abul Hasan Ashari, who is, the teacher of Imam Baqalani, the great Maliki Imam in Usul and Usul al-Din, in Kalam. By the way, Imam Baqalani is a student of Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani by Ijaza. His teacher is Ibn Mujahid. And Imam Ibn Mujahid al-Basri is a very well-known Imam from the Asha'ira. In fiqh, he is Maliki, but he is a direct student of Imam Abul Hasan Ashari. And we have correspondence where, he wrote to Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani, and Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani corresponded with him. And this Risalah was well known. The other works, which later were authored later, especially the Mukhtasar of the Mudawwana, on which Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani added his own work, Al-Jami, because how the Muwatta is arranged, that you have a Jami at the end, which later on became a science in itself by the name of Tasawwuf. And the Jami usually has Mukhtasar Aqidah and then Adab, and he covers the same points that he covers in the Aqidah here in the Jami. And none of Imam Baqalani or Imam Ibn Mujahid, they don't raise this point that this is something unacceptable, or the wording that Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani uses. Inshallah, we will come to it, inshallah, today, once we get through the introduction. And also, Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani is not, someone who does not know his science of Aqidah, because he does actually end up authoring small epistles in rebutting certain points. Not on this one, but there have been, Imams within the school which are not his contemporaries later, who some agreed with his wording, others disagreed with his wording. The third category, which is the balanced one, is trying to understand why he is using this wording. So Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani, no, he does not. He would be difficult to categorize as an Ashari. He is not anti-Ashari. He is corresponding with the Imams of the Ash'ira from the Malikiyya. As I said, Ibn Mujahid is a very great figure from the Malikiyya, from the Ash'ira, a direct student of Imam Abul Hasan Ashari, and then Imam Baqalani, who is a student of Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani by Ijaza, but both are very familiar with the works of Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani, and their correspondence bears that out, inshallah. have I answered it or not, or is there?
Yes, exactly. It was a good clarification.
Okay. So, does anybody want to read the Risala, and what doesn't make sense, ask, or do you want me to read?
Sidi, we can read if you permit us.
Bismillah.
Okay, so I will try to bring this Ibn Abi Zayd. Just a moment. I'm bringing the PDF.
See, just one follow-up. Which sharh would you recommend for the Risala?
Usually, the one that is generally used is, Ubbi's Thamr al-Dani. Thamr al-Dani for Taqrib al-Ma'ani. But again, I don't intend to stick to one. But if and again, it depends on what you want. If you just want to know all the evidences that Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani is basing his Risala on, then the Masalik al-Dalala by Sayyid Abdullah bin Sadiq al-Ghumari, the great Hafiz of Hadith, where he references everything in the Risala to it. A decent, halfway house is, Imam Zarruq's commentary on it is in 2 volumes. As I said, depends on what people want from what they're looking at, how much detail. My intention is to go through the matan with you and to answer to the best of my ability to any points that you want clarification on, inshallah. But because Thamr al-Dani, Sayyida Aisha Bewley has already, there are 2 translations of it, of this. One is by Haj Bello, the Nigerian academic, and the other is by Lala Aisha Bewley. So it's there for people to, access in English. If your Arabic is up to scratch, you can have. So it's up to people what people want to. I would stick just to the text and clarify what needs to, inshallah. I personally, how I have taught it before, I have put the onus on the students to read Thamr al-Dani in their private work, privately, make notes, bring them to the class and answer them. And then I think all of you are familiar with Imam Hattab, the great commentator on them.
Yeah.
He has a hashia, a gloss on the Risala, which is very useful. But again, it means that people have to have gone through the Thamr al-Dani before on hand to go through Imam Hattab's. But to begin with, let's see how far we get with this, inshallah.
Okay, thank you, Sidi. So the PDF is taking some time to download. It's quite big. So I will just start reading from the Arabic text that is available on Shamila.
Yeah,
So, and if there is any mistake, please do correct us.
inshallah.
So I'm sharing my screen. I think I'll try to zoom in a bit so it's bigger and easier to see. I think this should be okay. 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 Okay, let's make this bigger. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. الرسالة للقيرواني Ibn Abi Zayd al Qayrawani. Okay, the chapter heading it's باب ما تنطق به الألسنة وتعتقده الأفئدة من واجب أمور الديانات من
No,
ذلك.
read from وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. قال أبو محمد عبد الله بن أبي زيد القيرواني رضي الله عنه وأرضاه.
Unfortunately, this doesn't include that.
Okay, shall I read it and you can begin?
Yeah.
Okay,
please.
So بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. قال أبو محمد عبد الله بن أبي زيد القيرواني رضي الله عنه وأرضاه. الحمد لله الذي ابتدع الإنسان بنعمته وصوره في الأرحام بحكمته وأبرزه إلى رفقه وما يسره له من رزقه وعلمه ما لم يكن يعلم وكان فضل الله عليه عظيما ونبه بآثاره صنعته وعاثر إليه على ألسنة المرسلين الخيرات من خلقه فهدى من وفقه بفضله وأضل من خذله بأدله ويسر المؤمنين لليسرى وشرح صدورهم للذكرى فآمنوا بالله بألسنتهم ناطقين وبقلوبهم مخلصين وبما أتتهم به رسله وكتبه عاملين وتعلموا ما علمهم ووقفوا عندما حد لهم واستغنوا بما أحل لهم عما حرم عليهم. So in the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Compassionate, may Allah bless our Prophet Muhammad, his family and his companions and give him peace. Abu Muhammad Abdullah bin Abi Zayd al Qayrawani, may Allah be pleased with him and please him, said, Praise be to Allah who created man through his bounty and molded him in the wombs by his wisdom and brought him out to his mercy and what he facilitated to him of his sustenance and taught him that what he did not know. Indeed, Allah's favor upon him was great. Allah cautioned him through the signs of his creation and made an excuse for himself through the tongues of the messengers chosen from amongst his creation. He guided right those whom he caused to succeed through his bounty and led astray those whom he forsook through his justice. He made it easy for the faithful to obey him and opened their hearts to his remembrance. So they believed in him by their hearts and tongues. They were sincere at heart in that belief and observed that which his messengers and scriptures commanded. They learned that which he taught them and kept within his bounds. They were satisfied with that which he made lawful to them and kept away from that which he forbade them. Now, may Allah aid us in all preserving أما بعد عاننا الله وإياك على رعية وداعه وحفظ ما أودع من شرائعه فإنك سألتني أن أكتب لك جملة مختصرة من واجب أمور الديانة مما تنطق به الألسنة وتعتقد القلوب. Is that where you've got this, have you?
Yes, the PDF is now downloaded. I can read.
Okay, Bismillah.
Okay,
So
Bismillah.
carry on from أما بعد.
Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما بعد أعاننا الله وإياك على رعاية ودائعه وحفظ ما أودعنا من شرائعه فإنك سألتني أن أكتب لك جملة مختصرة من واجب أمور الديانة مما تنطق به الألسنة وتعتقده القلوب وتعمله الجوارح وما يتصل بالواجب من ذلك من السنن من مؤكدها ونوافلها ورغائبها وشيء من الآداب منها وجمل من أصول الفقه وفنونه على مذهب الإمام مالك بن أنس رحمه الله تعالى وطريقته مع ما سهل سبيل ما أشكل من ذلك من تفسير الراسخين وبيان المتفقهين لما رغبت فيه من تعليم ذلك للولدان كما تعلمهم حروف القرآن ليسبق إلى قلوبهم من فهم دين الله وشرائعه ما ترجى لهم بركاته وتحمد لهم عاقبته فأجبتك إلى ذلك لما رجوته لنفسي ولك من ثواب من علم دين الله أو دعا إليه واعلم.
Hold on.
Okay.
You know, the wording is different with mine.
I see.
Where it says وطريقته ما سهل سبيل ما أشكل من ذلك من تفسير الراسخين وبيان المتفقهين لما رغبت فيه من تعليم ذلك للولدان كما تعلم حروف القرآن لينسبق إلى قلوب من فهم دين الله وشرائعه ما ترجى لهم بركاته وتحمده لهم عاقبته فأجبتك. I think the rest is the same.
I believe so.
Yeah. Because the problem, you know, that we have to date, this is the problem. We do not have, it's amazing, it's not amazing, it's shocking that, you know, we do not have to date a critical edition of the what's it called, you know, the text of the Risalah of Zayd al Qayrawani. You will find that, you know, there are slight I have you know, a copy of a manuscript which is nearly, I think, coming up to 700 years old. I'm going to show you. Can you see?
Yeah, we can see the Sidi. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, this has, you know, ijazat from the great ulama of Andalus. And this is, it's preserved, it's ended up in the Suleymaniya in Istanbul. And as I said, there's slight variance. So I want to just pick, are there any points that people want clarifications for? Because I'll read you the English. Now, may Allah aid us all in preserving His charge and preserving that which He has entrusted into our custody of His Sharia. You have requested me to write a short treatise explaining obligatory religious commands, the wajibat, regarding those things which tongues should utter, hearts believe, and limbs carry out, as well as those things which are linked to the obligatory duties of the Sunnah, including those that are imperative, those optional, and those desirable. You have also requested me to include in the treatise some words on good manners and sections on the principles of the jurisprudence and its various branches within the school of Imam Malik ibn Anas. Allah Most High have mercy upon him, explain the difficult arguments in the school according to the commentaries of the learned men and the explanations of the jurists. So I accepted your request for that which I wish to get for myself and for you, namely the reward given to those who have taught the religion of Allah and those who have invited others to accept it. Note that the best of hearts and that which is best disposed to do good is that in which evil has not yet taken root. The most important thing to which sincere advisors and those who sought to be rewarded cared for is to cause good to enter the hearts of the children of the faithful so that it might take root in them. Okay. Now, the point I want to which needs clarification, well, not clarification, but teasing out, is that Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani is saying that it's going to be on the way of Imam Malik radhiallahu anhu, and min tafsir al-rasikhin wa bayan al-mutafaqqihin. Inshallah, those are the 2 points I want to talk about. But are there any points that people want?
Sidi, there's one question that someone asked me a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I had an argument with him about making takfir of people, and I said that, well, this is something that only the scholars and learned people should engage in, and this is not something out for every lay people to just, I mean, sprout out. I mean, this is the job for only scholars and best of the scholars. Not everyone should speak about this and calling people kafir or making takfir. So then he replied, well, Ibn Abi Zayd, Imam Ibn Zayd wrote this book for children, and he has in this book a section of when a person becomes kafir. I mean, things like making takfir. So, I mean, is there a way to reconcile this? I mean, what do you think about this?
I can share with you where I am. You see, all of us are on a learning, all of us on a learning curve, and just because someone 1,000 years ago said this doesn't make it right. Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani, alhamdulillah, his title is Malik al-Saghir, the minor Malik, because the contribution of his to the madhab. He brought, over 1,000 years ago, all of the learning of the Malikiya up to his time in one place, in his Nawadir wa Ziyadat, a book which is encyclopedic on the madhab, especially the transmission. And as to calling someone out, because goes back to what I said at the beginning, that we need to understand the word that we are using. So when you say someone is a kafir, you're literally cutting that person from the mercy of God. Now, I do not know, and I'm a student of knowledge. I've never claimed to be anything more than that. And may Allah give us tawfiq to, be those who are continuously learning rather than, who say other than that. I have not come across anyone other than the Rasul والسلام, who has the authority or who has the sure knowledge to say that, you're cut off from the mercy of Allah. So, and Imam Ayashi, if anybody wants to learn, there's a whole work on this subject. We only have the authority to say that this is kufr and this is not. We don't have the authority to say that, you are a kafir. No, we only have the authority to say this is kufr and this is not kufr. We don't have the authority to say that you are a kafir and you are such and such. We that's as far as I would go. That we do not really have, because I can't tell you how much big a statement it is to cut someone from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's big. It's too big to contemplate. So you will find that certain works do have, but just because they're in the book doesn't mean that we're going to go round saying that so and so. It's I'll give an example that and I will stop at that. And when Sayyidina Usama radiallahu ta'ala an killed someone, and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked Usama, why did you do it? And they said they only did it to save their lives. And the Prophet said, did you open their hearts and look inside? And he raised his hands and said, I am free of this. I am free. And where we are now, I'm talking about, across the Muslim world now, we do not have any Muslim countries that are governed by the Sharia. They are governed by, elected governments who make their own law and they implement it. They don't govern by, the law of Allah and the Rasul. So when you have scholars who don't have any authority to implement their opinion, giving opinion upon opinion, as I said, it's too big. Allah knows best. Okay. Where were we?
Thank you, Sidi. Let's continue. So I will again share my screen.
No. Hold on. Because the point about the way of Imam Malik.
Yeah, that one.
وطريقته. على مذهب الإمام مالك رحمه الله تعالى وطريقته ما سهل سبيل ما أشكل من ذلك في من التفسير الراسخين وبيان المتفقهين. When this was written, Imam Abi Zayd al Qayrawani had access to, what we could only dream of. I will share with you, in the mid 1980s, I was the only Pakistani Maliki in Birmingham, and I would go to the there was only one actually Arab bookshop. They were Salafi, and I forced them to get me a copy of the Mudawwan al-Kubra. And it took them nearly 6 months to get me the Jami of Abi Zayd al Qayrawani. Now, the Mukhtasar of Abi Zayd al Qayrawani is in print. His Jami as a separate work was brought out ages ago. His Dab is in print. His Nawadir wa Ziyadat is in print. His Risalah is in print. His Masail on teaching children are in print. His Fatawa are in print. The commentary on the Mudawwana by Qadi Ayad, the Tabsira of Imam Lakhmi, the commentary of Imam Ibn Yunus on the Mudawwana, then Ibn Rushd's Muqaddimat, and these are later works. The Jami of Ibn Abdul Hakam, the Abu Musab Zubayri's Jami is in print. So, the works that were authored by the students of Imam Malik are in print. So the way of Imam Malik, it's important that we understand that, his nephew, the teacher of Imam Bukhari, Ibn Abi Uwais, he asks Imam Malik, is there any opinion that you have given in your life from yourself? Does anybody know how many opinions that Imam Malik gave from his own which are his opinions, which were not given before? Do people know? Imam Ibn Abi Uwais states that, Imam Malik first wouldn't answer, and then he answered. He said he only gave 3 opinions from himself. And then he wouldn't tell him what those 3 opinions were. Then he found those 3 opinions, and then he researched, and he found that those 3 opinions were not from himself either. So, when we say that, it's the mother of Imam Malik or his way, it literally is the way of the people of Medina. Not, Imam Malik's, yes, he presents us the information, then he arranges it in a certain way. He's on record that his usul in the Mudawwan al-Kubra, in the Muwatta, is from Rabi al-Ra'i, and Rabi al-Ra'i got it from Sayyid ibn Musayyib, and we have this with authentic sanad. So what Imam Malik's usul in fiqh is from Rabi al-Ra'i, and Rabi al-Ra'i is a tabi'i, a junior tabi'i, and who took his usul al-fiqh from Sayyid ibn Musayyib, who is a senior. Tabi'i. I'll tell you how senior he is. That people like the Sahabi, Sayyidina Abdullah bin Umar radhiallahu anh, if he wanted to know what the opinion of his father was on a matter, he would go to Sayyid ibn Musayyib, because he was the one who was the most knowledgeable on the fiqh of Sayyidina Umar. So the way of Imam Malik radhiallahu anh, is the way of the people of Medina, and his way is literally following the people of Medina. And inshallah, I'll leave it at that. Sorry.
Sidi, if you allow, I have a question on this.
Yeah, Bismillah.
Okay, so actually, Imam Shafi'i in his has a refutation of Imam Malik on this particular point. He is saying that Imam Malik claims to follow the people of Medina, then on some matters he didn't follow. Like he quotes the Ad-Dawardi. He's also Medinan, and he's telling Imam Shafi'i that no one before Imam Malik told that there is a bare minimum of mahar, sadaqah, that you have to give to your future wife. Imam Malik, and he told that Imam Malik took the opinion of the Iraqis on this matter. Like the Iraqis, they stipulate that you have to give 10 dirhams at least as mahar, and Imam Malik gave the fatwa that you have to pay 4 dirhams as bare minimum, and Shafi'is and Hanbalis, they don't have such bare minimums. So this is an objection that Imam Shafi'i has brought in his Al-Um. I know that there is some answer to that, but what you, Sidi, will answer? I mean, because Imam Malik is straying from the ijtihad of fuqaha from the city of Medina, and taking sides with the fuqaha from Iraq.
Okay. Can I can you jot that down and send it to me, and I will answer that for you next week?
Okay, sure, Sidi. Sure.
Yeah, because the thing is, it's better that I answer it where I am satisfied rather than I answer it top of my head and I am not satisfied with that. This point has been covered by the fuqaha, the Maliki fuqaha, for some time. Again, just because there isn't a minimum doesn't mean there can't be a minimum. But again,